And welcome to this week's Invisible Walls. Yes, indeed, no Shane Slatterfield this week again. He's recovering from his Tokyo shenanigans. We busted him out of jail, so the bail came through. But we're here this week again in the closet that is now being renamed the boob closet because there's pictures of ladies in bikinis all over the wall, which is just fantastic.
Not just any lady, that's Keely Hazel.
That's Keely Ann Hazel.
My eyes aren't playing tricks on me.
Indeed. I am Marcus Beer, sitting in for Shane, and I have Patrick Morales.
What's up? No sake bombs here, but hopefully it'll be just as fun.
And I notice you're wearing some nice branded clothes today, Patrick.
That's right. For today, I'm Blizzard's #1 whore.
We have the Mr. Texas guy, Mike Damiani, in his very dirty hat.
Oh, what time is it, everyone?
4 o'clock.
And OU still sucks.
Okay. And then we have the very dapper-looking Brooks Huber, who's wearing a nice black shirt and then these bizarre shorts.
Yeah, I'm going to go clubbing later. Keep it casual.
Clubbing what, seals?
Maybe. We'll
Anyway, all right, okay, moving swiftly on. Yes, we are hoping that it's going to be another Thursday update. We'll make it 3 weeks in a row. Who knows, or am I going to jinx us? BlizzCon update. Dun dun dun. Patrick, you went to BlizzCon.
Patrick was there.
Tell us.
I did go to BlizzCon, so I guess the #1 news item for that is StarCraft 2 being released as a trilogy.
You mean StarCraft 2.1, 2.2, 2.3?
In essence, but I think it should be made clear that Blizzard has stated that the initial StarCraft 2 game, Terran campaign, it's going to be the core game for StarCraft 2. With very much the complete multiplayer experience. The only thing that's missing is the Protoss and Zerg campaign, which will be released later on as expansions.
So will you be able to play Protoss and Zerg in multiplayer from out of the box?
That is correct.
Okay, so that's an interesting thing. I mean, obviously the forums have been flaming, if you will, with people, calling this a cash-in. I was a little surprised when I first heard about it, but I mean, there's two sides of it. One side, Blizzard is obviously very committed to delivering a kick-ass, StarCraft 2, and every campaign has got to be up to scratch.
Most definitely.
But then there is the flip side of the Activision influence that we're beginning to hear a little bit more out of, and we'll cover that in another minute. But is this a money grab as well? I mean, you're looking at $40 to $50 for the game on PC, and then you're looking anywhere between. Well, actually, normally expansion packs are about $30. So for the full StarCraft 2 experience, you are looking at anywhere between $80 and $120.
Yeah, and maybe even higher than that, maybe even 180. Did
Why
you
is
say
that?
180 or 100?
No, I said 80 and 120. So if they, unless they charge full price for all three.
Yeah, if they decide to do that, it could easily become 180.
Yeah, and if you throw in collector's editions as well, I mean, StarCraft fans will be rightly pissed off. So we'll see what happens with that. What else came out of BlizzCon? Anything?
Well, Jay Wilson, who is the lead designer for Diablo 3, also said that Battle.net may be experiencing some changes in the near future, in that they are looking at monetizing certain features of it, meaning that it won't be completely free anymore.
That's going to be interesting. Battle.net's been free for, was it 10 years, 15
years? Oh yeah,
years?
almost 10 years running. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've been. I mean, to be fair, for a free update, for a free service, they've been very good with updating Diablo and updating StarCraft continually. So again, on one hand, I mean, it makes sense that they're going to want to monetize a system that's got so many people on it, but it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. And again, is this a Blizzard directive, or has this come from the Activision side of it?
To be fair, Jay Wilson said that they weren't looking at, say, charging a subscription fee, but they were looking at maybe doing microtransactions if it would benefit the overall product. They made it very clear that they didn't want to, quote, gouge their customers, but also they found, obviously a lot of, possible revenue from a new Battle.net service.
Well, it does. It churns up a lot, a lot of bandwidth, and it would be interesting to see perhaps if they bring out something where you've got World of Warcraft, your subscription there, and you can pay perhaps X amount more to have an overall Blizzard subscription and keep things tidy. But you think they're going to be charging for, new weapons, new items?
They got to be careful with that, no matter what they do, and I'm definitely sure that they're giving a lot of consideration to it, because any kind of alteration like that could potentially break or really mess up the delicate system they have there. you're sure that they're definitely not going to be having any kind of like paid like servers where they like up the experience or drop rates or anything like that, because that could really screw up a lot of the mechanics. And
I think they've probably taken that into account. You probably have the option to perhaps lease a server, or they may have, perhaps they'll have tournament servers where people can, pay to enter, and then there's like cool prizes, and whether it's a cash prize, which is a percentage of the take or whatever. I can't see any sense in it going pay for play on any of the basic servers. That would just be the kiss of death for the StarCraft experience, or BattleNet actually in general. I mean, maybe how's it going to affect the original StarCraft? How's it going to affect Diablo 2? That's all going to be very interesting.
In all, I'd have to say that Blizzard's a very smart company and obviously very talented. So they obviously have a good idea of what they're getting themselves into. So for the most part, as a fan, I trust them in that they're doing the best thing for the quality of the products. They've never steered us wrong in the past. So hopefully what they're doing here is a calculated move that'll, enrich the experience of these games.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's not as if they're hurting for money.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that they are the most profitable developer in the history of games. I mean, when you look at their profit ratio to the products they've released, I mean, StarCraft, one of the biggest selling games of all time, continually selling well. So anything else from BlizzCon to report?
Well, I guess that's it. Blizzard, they're doing some bold moves, but hopefully it'll pay off in the end.
Okay, so from BlizzCon to the other major event, or as it turns out, perhaps not so major, Tokyo Game Show was obviously last week. We know that 90% of the Game Trailers office are off on one huge boom. Sorry, they're working. They're working really hard, bless them. Anybody else phenomenally underwhelmed with what came out at TGS last week?
Yes. I worked the overnight shift on Wednesday night. I was expecting major things to come through, big trailers. All I really got was the Halo Recon trailer, which is pretty neat. Gave us a little bit more in-depth into the game.
That was new.
Prince of Persia, we got another trailer for that game. So those are like my two big surprises. I mean, not even surprises, but the two things I liked most out of TGS.
Yeah, for me, the biggest thing and pretty much the only surprise I saw come out of TGS was the announcement for No More Heroes 2.
Yep.
That was cool.
That was a game that I think a lot of people wanted a sequel to, but really thought it didn't have that great of a shot, especially with Ubisoft handling the publishing here. But lo and behold, there is a sequel coming, and it is going to be for Wii. And the good news is that Ubisoft no longer has the license for North America and Europe. It's going to be Marvelous and Xseed. So maybe this time around I'll get the marketing it deserves. But that was a good sign to see that type of game coming out for Wii, because Wii definitely needs those type of third-party games
What
coming out.
was the reception like for the first game? I know
It sold well for no marketing whatsoever. It sold out in the United States in its first print.
Yeah.
And the goal was to sell close to 500,000. I think it got pretty close to that goal. So it did fairly well for a relatively under-the-radar title.
How much is it priced right now? Is it about $30?
I think it's bargain priced right now, yeah.
Back to TGS,
Yeah.
Patrick, anything?
Yes. Well, to be fair, even though TGS was a bit underwhelming this year, there were still a few gems scattered about, namely Ninja Blade, one of the new titles announced. That's looking pretty promising. And of course, they showed a new trailer for Bayonetta, which everyone's had their eyes on since E3. Obviously, it's a very stylized game. Kamiya of the Devil May Cry fame, he's steering it into good territory there. So I can't wait to see more of that when, more footage rolls around.
What do you guys think about the current gen Castlevania that the little teaser they showed off, almost about as appealing as the God of War 3 trailer? Especially after what they announced, after what Konami announced at Games Convention, that other title they announced that looked a little more appealing and looked like it would be a spiritual successor to the Castlevania series. I just don't think they showed off enough. I mean, I wanted to get excited about that. You'd think a new Castlevania for 360 or PS3 would be a big thing, but it seemed kind of lukewarm reception to that type of announcement as well.
Yeah.
And we will say that obviously nobody here was actually at TGS. The stuff has been coming in, and we've been looking at it as it's arrived. Yeah. Next week we will be doing a full-on TGS roundup when the rest of the crew are back and have recovered from the sushi poisoning. So yeah, I mean, I know I was personally underwhelmed. I didn't see much by way of any major earth-shattering, super sexy announcements. Which kind of shocked me.
But what did catch your eye? Anything in particular that we haven't mentioned yet?
No, I think we've pretty much covered everything that was of interest. I mean, I also thought that some of the booth babes were quite attractive.
Yeah.
And I still miss those
Guilty
from
of
E3 to
watching
the E3 over here. And I thought some of the cosplay stuff was intense. I saw somebody in a Metal Gear Solid outfit, a girl who with just some amazing headgear that was had to be custom machine built.
TGS cosplay never fails to disappoint.
Yeah, it was totally that was totally amazing. But even I'm hearing back that everybody else thought it was underwhelming. Attendance was down this year for the first time. I
think we all had high expectations after what happened with E3 this year. All these unanswered questions, and I was kind of looking forward to TGS to reveal something new and earth-shattering, but we just didn't.
I don't know what's going on. I mean, maybe it's the economic crisis. Maybe people are putting big announcements back. Maybe people don't have the budget to push certain titles out. Maybe certain development games are being held until next E3 or first quarter. So we'll see. But yeah, I think we can all agree that we are again underwhelmed because we're all cynical, world-weary bastards. All right, so that was Tokyo Game Show. Now we're going to actually talk about a full-on game by itself, and I understand we've had some people playing this, Midnight Club LA. Brooks and Patrick, you've been playing this. What's going on?
Oh, I set it up in the back last week, and playing through it for the first time. I've always been a big fan of the Burnout series. Never really paid too much attention to Midnight Club, but Midnight Club Los Angeles, and actually living in Los Angeles, it's a pretty neat recreation of the city that we live in, because I was playing it in the back, and a lot of guys huddled up behind me, and they're like, oh, let's drive down Sunset Boulevard to Santa Monica and go by the office. It's just like joking around. There's a lot of streets that are taken out, but the major streets are all included, and the game looks really impressive.
Yeah, you've got landmarks like the Staples Center, except it's called the Sports Center.
Yeah.
And then you've got Pink's Hot Dog, which is like a really good shack down in downtown LA.
And you actually get missions, and the structure of the game kind of leads you to these iconic places in order to meet new characters or start race events.
Does it recreate the horrible traffic of the commute every day?
You could still get on the freeways, 405 in particular, and there are quite a bit of cars on there. And you're zigzagging through. I like to go through the first-person view where you're in the cockpit. That's pretty neat.
Well, actually, on a somewhat related note, Midnight Club LA actually takes some cues from GTA 4, which used the Rage engine, which basically dynamically put a set amount of cars on the road depending on the time of day, which is a pretty cool addition.
Makes sense.
And I think it really does benefit from that open world interface. We've seen this before in Burnout Paradise, and they're doing it here in Midnight Club, and it's definitely GTA on wheels.
It looks better than GTA 4 in my opinion.
It looks great, and I think it really benefits from just that whole open city world, because you could go around, you can flash lights at people, challenge them to a race, take up missions.
The interface is impressive. It zooms out to show you the entire map of Los Angeles, and then zooms back in, and it looks really neat.
Yeah.
Driving up in the Hollywood Hills.
Can you drive down to PCH and drive on the Santa Monica Pier?
You can.
You really can?
That's true, yeah. I went down and checked it out. A little bit different, but yeah, you could go down on the pier and loop around and then jump out.
Can you run over those annoying bastards on rollerblades?
You can't run over any people in the game. It's to adhere to the rating, I assume. But.
Yeah, they're actually a lot less docile than the street people of GTA.
Believe me,
they actually run out of the way.
I've tried to run over people many a times.
Yeah.
Damn. See, now that would make the game a must-buy for me. Because
I've been arrested
in Santa Monica.
in the game. I've actually had cops pursuing me and get arrested and fined. And you can outrun them, but it's a pain in the ass to outrun cops in that game.
Yeah, and I think I was the only one that was able to do multiplayer at the event 2 weeks back. But that was pretty fun for me because they had these huge 16-player multiplayer events, and they pretty much played like a Mario Kart style affair where you'd get these power-ups, you'd freeze people, there's capture the flag. So just imagine grabbing a flag in downtown LA and booking it back, nitro blazing.
Going in through traffic.
Yeah, dodging and weaving through alleys, and it's really fun. And
it controls well.
Yeah, it has good controls, and I'm not much of a racing aficionado, but this is definitely a game that I would definitely look at.
Okay, so just to wrap up, Midnight Club LA, considering we've had Pure come out, there's a slew of other racing games coming out, where does it stack up? Do we like?
We definitely like.
Yeah, I like.
Awesome. There you go. All right, on to another game that is coming soon, and actually this one features a iconic video games character who's been going through a bit of a period recently. It's the spiky blue bastard, otherwise known as Sonic. And Mr. Damiani, you've been playing some Sonic, I understand?
Yeah, I've been playing Sonic Chronicles, the BioWare-developed RPG, which a lot of people have been mistakenly comparing it to Super Mario RPG. It is nothing like Super Mario RPG. Overall, it's just a disappointment of a game. It had a unique concept for a battle system. If you've played Elite Beat Agents, it has these on-screen actions you got to mimic to execute these special moves. The problem is they're really long and drawn out, and Sonic is known for its speed, its fast-paced platforming, and those elements have been almost completely removed from the game in favor of these slow, explorative segments on the overworld. The action of just doing a loop-de-loop is initiated by an icon. It was even just jumping was the same way. It was very disappointing. The combat isn't unique. It's kind of intuitive at first, but it just drags on forever. And overall, as I said, it was disappointing to play the game.
So what the hell has happened to Sonic? I mean, it started off, it was Sonic and Mario. They were the forefront of the current status of video games. They were the first iconic characters. I admit the last game I played was the Sonic tennis game, and that was a steaming pile of dog.
That's in the bargain bin, right?
Yeah, I mean seriously, I actually got it by mistake from the people at GameFly, which was bizarre. But yeah, I mean, what's happened?
Yeah, the last time I played a Sonic game was Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
And that was pretty.
It's average. It's enjoyable in parts, but I'm looking for a really good next gen. I don't care if it's 3D. I'm down for that.
So it's interesting how Mario has made the jump to 3D. Mario's made the jump to next gen, and at one point they were neck and neck, and they were all just as popular, and the games were just as good. But yeah, Sonic has done. Literally, as Sega have stopped publishing their own consoles, Sonic has fallen by the wayside, and where is the next Sonic game that's going to take us back? I mean, maybe there's no place for Sonic in this environment where we want Gears of War, we want Sackboy, and we want Midnight Club, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Maybe Sonic is done, and he should be sent to the old Hedgehog's home.
I think the primary issue with it is while they both succeeded, Mario and going head-to-head, Mario and Sonic were both as popular and both succeeded as 2D franchises. The jump to 3D, I think it was partially because the creator behind Mario is a lot better than the creator behind the Sonic series. We'll get into that debate, but Mario is a pure platforming game. It's more slower paced. It seems better geared towards 3D platforming. Where Sonic, you really need that speed for the experience, and it just seems like it's a little bit difficult for them to capture on the whole speed aspect in this 3D environment. It seems like it's lost.
Well, Sonic was always video game pinball. Basically, it's that's the speed of it. So yeah, so the new Sonic game not so good. We're wondering where our spiky blue one has gone, and we'll see what Sega have to show us in the future. Next, and we're just plowing through topics today. It's really cool. We're giving you value for money today, dear listener. Rather, let's talk about something that I'm rather scared of. Discussing a Apple product as a gaming platform, and I'm talking about the iPhone. There is one smug bastard sitting at the table with an iPhone right now. So tell us how much you love masturbating over your iPhone, Mr. Patrick Morales.
We'll see if I did that, then it'd be a little too hard to, touch the screen.
Oh,
yeah, sticky.
Yeah. Well, actually, I have not utilized it as a gaming platform yet because there haven't been any really good games lately, or at all.
It's the software that's keeping you.
But technically, the hardware is fully capable. Apparently, Steve Jobs said, it has, just as much capability hardware-wise as a PSP, if not more. But I guess we have yet to see any developers take advantage of that.
And Apple have been really, proactive in releasing, SDKs to as many developers as possible. And I don't own an iPhone. I probably will come Christmas if Santa's nice to me because I got to replace my BlackBerry. But yeah, it's. I mean, just even the way you can download stuff. I mean, you go to the App Store, you click on what you want, boom, boom, it's downloaded, it's ready to run. I mean, it does take advantage of the 3G network very well. It's got the tilt and touch controls that Brooks was getting very excited over earlier. But I think it will. It's the way forward. I mean, we discussed last week that the DSi was definitely a competitor to the iPod Touch. So I think this is the way forward. We're going to be looking at consoles, PS2 consoles, or that sort of level of technology integrated into phones. Is Microsoft working on a phone? I mean, we know they've acquired a phone yeah, they've acquired a phone manufacturer. They actually did it late last year.
Didn't know that.
So it will be interesting to see if they're going to enter into the phone market and the game, handheld game market. So anybody else got any theories on this idiot phone?
Well, as you've said, the iPhone definitely has some factors going for it, specifically because, it has a huge install base. Almost everyone has one these days. But I have to wonder, is it going to be, the Wii of handheld games? Is it just going to cater to a casual audience with, bejeweled clones here and there? Or is it actually going to spin off some really innovative, fun games?
Their marketing seems identical to... Well, it's kind of funny because Nintendo's marketing sort of ripped off the whole Apple mantra, and then now their new iPod Touch commercials are going for the same thing. They showed a little Super Monkey Ball, you're tilting it and stuff. I was actually intrigued by that. Do they have Super Monkey Ball actually available right now as a game?
Yeah, it actually came out and was actually one of the biggest selling apps. I think 300,000 downloads.
That's
in the first
one
day.
I want to try. And then they had some game, some looking platformer where the guy touched and a little projectile came out.
Similar to
so yeah, it has that.
Garden of Eden.
Yeah, the Garden of Eden. Then the racing games. It looks interesting to see the tilt mechanics, but I haven't. I admit I haven't tried it. I haven't tried it yet, so I am skeptical. But I would like to try it out.
It is good to see though that certain great companies that we've come to know and love, like Square Enix, have developed for the iPhone. Song Summoner being one of the titles on there.
Yeah.
But we still have yet to see most companies go all hands on deck with developing for the iPhone.
One more question. Price-wise, how much do games go for? Have you even looked to see how much Monkey Ball sells?
They generally go for anywhere between $9 and $14.99.
Yeah, so it's $10 to $15.
That's not bad.
What you'd expect from a virtual console or Xbox Live game.
Cool.
Okay, so that's the iPhone. I mean, I think the general impression is that it's the Wii of phones right now, which again will annoy some of the Wii fans who think we're permanently down on that console. But we'll see. We'll see what has to happen, and maybe when we've all got iPhones for Christmas, we can have some four-way iPhone action, which would be exciting. All right, moving swiftly on away from the iPhone action, we are going to talk about something that's becoming more and more prevalent in the games industry: special editions of games and how they stack up against normal editions. I mean, there's hardly a day goes by that a AAA release, doesn't come out with a special edition. And some of them have been, in the past have been really dubious. I mean, I remember certain companies charging $5 extra for a special edition that basically allowed you to play the game on DVD, and you didn't have to do a 6-disc install. This was obviously for a PC game. Fear. Hey, I worked on that product, so I'll have to hold my hands up. But yeah, I mean, what's the general impression? I mean, we got a list here of various special editions, and you know what? Let's go around the table. Brooks, you're the Gears head.
Sure.
Do you want to tell everybody what's in the Gears of War special edition?
Yeah. So the limited edition is going to be available the same day as the other one, and it's selling for $80, so $20 more. And what you're really getting for $20 here is a collectible Steelbook DVD case. So that's just the outside case. Cool. Beneath the Surface, an insider look at Gears 2, which is a hardbound book. I'm not very impressed by that or getting excited about that. And then the bonus DVD is some making of documentary stuff with Epic Games. And all in all, I just don't think it's really worth the extra $20.
So basically, you get a steel case, you get an inside look at Gears of War 2, which is a bunch of stuff and a forward by Cliffy B.
Yeah.
And then you get a bonus DVD of content you can probably download from GameTrailers.com right now.
Yeah, for free.
Oh, and you get an exclusive gold-plated Lancer assault rifle available only during online play.
Ooh. Sign me up.
Yeah, color me unimpressed with that one. Patrick, do you want to take us through Resistance 2?
Well, basically what we got for Resistance 2 is an exclusive 5-inch Chimera hybrid action figure with a bullseye weapon. Nice. Can't miss that. And of course, you're also getting the double-sided hardbound Resistance art book covering a war-torn America from two unique perspectives. And along with that, you've got a DVD, which includes, the requisite behind-the-scenes video, just a timeline of the Resistance lore, sneak peek at the novel, so on and so forth.
Okay, so Damian, do you want to finish this off and we'll look at Saints Row 2 and then we'll start dissecting this stuff?
And this collector's edition has embossed tin, since most of these things come in tin containers nowadays.
Which totally screw up your storage systems, by the way, if you've got, DVD shelves.
I usually just chuck them and keep the thing. A Saints Row 2 money clip. We're looking for a fashion statement there.
Bling bling.
A double-sided poster map, which is going to end up in your trash can. Exclusive art book. And then this is actually pretty decent.
This is pretty
Silver
cool.
bullet shaped 512 megabyte USB thumb drive.
When everything else is 4 gigs these days.
And,
And try taking that through security.
Exactly. Seriously, you will not get on a plane with that. But I mean, just looking through all these right now, I think the Saints Row 2 and the Resistance one, because they offer something tangible, whether it's a figurine, whether it's a double money clip. Let's face it, you'd be
I would
so.
use that money clip.
You know what? Actually, given what you're wearing today, Brooks, that would actually work really well for you.
That would look good.
And the USB thumb drive. I mean, if it was a 2 gig drive, I'd certainly feel much happier. But yeah, are these things needed? I mean, everybody's trying to stimulate sales and again stimulate pre-orders because the way obviously the system works is that the bigger pre-orders you get, that's what retailers base their overall orders on. So if you have 1,200 pre-orders across the US for a certain game, they basically take your order and times that by about anywhere between 5 and 10 times.
I like pre-order bonuses, things you get for free just by pre-ordering the game. Like with a Little Big Planet, you're going to be entitled to various Sackboy, Sackgirl things. With Banjo-Kazooie, you get a free code for the Xbox Live Arcade game, which is great. That got me in pre-ordering. But these special editions for the extra $20, for me, they're just not worth it.
I have to say, though, that, as of late, the collector's editions have been pretty disappointing. The last one I got for Devil May Cry 4 was really disappointing because one of the bonuses with that was a supposed art book, but it was really just a cheap little stationery with a few, sketches in there. And there really wasn't anything that added to the overall product that I enjoyed. But then again, you have to look at the other side of things too. World of Warcraft, their special edition with Burning Crusade was an amazing, compilation.
Yeah, when done right, it's phenomenal.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, World of Warcraft, they give you something that you can use in the game, and not, I mean, obviously it's an MMO, but the fact you get an exclusive pet or an exclusive mount from BlizzCon, I mean, those sort of things are tangible, and people get a kick out of those. But yeah, I think a lot of the collector's editions just leave me cold, and at the end of the day, it's just so that they're pleasing different retailers, so that Target has got something that's a little bit unique to Best Buy and to Amazon and to GameStop, and at the end of the day, any sucker who shells out for all these, deserves their head read. Okay, so that was it. Wow, 30 minutes flew by. Absolutely flew by this week. As always, thank you to the gentlemen on the panel, Patrick Morales, Mike Damiani, and Brooks Huber.
It was a pleasure.
If you want to check out Game Trailers TV with Jeff Keighley, you can this week on Spike on Friday at 1 a.m. It's a repeat, but everybody loves looking at Jeff, because he's just so damn good looking. All right, that's it. We are done for this week. We will be back next week with Shane Slatterfield, with Ryan Stevens, with the rest of the crew, Justin and Bloodworth. They'll all be back from Japan, and you won't have to listen to my annoying voice for the entire show. I'll be tucked away. Yeah, and you're off the show next week as well. All right. Well, as usual, thank you for tuning in. Here's hoping that you're listening to this on a Thursday night / Friday morning. This has been Invisible Walls on Game Trailers TV. Oh, TV? What? Hey?
Yeah.
All right. We're out of here. Bye.